The New Orleans Saints needs to stay far away from Kliff Kingsbury because if they hire him, I would lose my mind. So the coaching search has been heating up for the New Orleans Saints. We've seen names like Aaron Glenn, Anthony Weaver, Mike Kafka, but there is one name that keeps circulating, and that is Commanders offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury, who I just don't understand continues to get head coaching opportunities when he had a major fail once in the NFL and was a mediocre head coach in college. I mean, let's go back to his Texas Tech days. He had quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and still did not have a season winning more than 8 games. That's pathetic. Then he moves to the NFL, becomes the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, have talents like Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, and still only has one winning season where they won 11 games, and guess what? They choked it up in the first round of the NFL playoffs. Saints fans have this whole thing about Dennis Allen to where they hate the Saints for even considering Dennis Allen back then because he was already a losing head coach in Vegas. But then those same Saints fans who said the same thing about Dennis Allen, and they were right, by the way, won't keep the same smoke with Kliff Kingsbury. I just don't understand it. Kliff Kingsbury is a losing head coach. He's proven it time and time again. You can see he's a great offensive coordinator, and that's okay. He loses the team when he's head coach, and he is just not a guy that is a good leader of men when he's the top head of the snake. I mean, there are just so much better options for the New Orleans Saints. I do want a first-year head coach, so give me a Joe Brady, give me a Aaron Glenn, even though a lot of reports are saying Aaron Glenn's not likely right now. I don't really believe too many of those other reporters, but I mean, give me any of those guys. But if the Saints do go ahead and hire Kliff Kingsbury, that defense is going to need to be elite because that man won't last 2 years. Now, look, I know us LSU fans are happy with the job that Kliff Kingsbury has been able to do with Jaden Daniels, and I'm excited to see his future there. But I think even if you're Kliff Kingsbury, you don't go for a head coaching job because it's probably going to end the same way your last 2 head coaching jobs did, not successful. Now, I do believe if Kliff does get the job, he would change the entire offense because he's never really worked with pocket passers. He's always had a guy who can move like a Patrick Mahomes and a Jaden Daniels, and I just don't think Derek Carr would be his type of quarterback that he would want to say, yeah, let me go ahead and coach this guy. If I'm Mickey Loomis and I know that this is most likely going to be my last chance to get a head coaching candidate right, since I missed my last one by a huge margin, I'm not going for the safe option in Kliff Kingsbury, who will most likely fail. I am going to shoot for the stars, get a young guy who's never been a head coach before, and let him change the culture of this team around, give him everything he wants, coordinators, the staff, and just live and die by this head coach, because if you're Mickey Loomis, you cannot afford to not hit on this one after the horrendous signing of Dennis Allen back in 2022. And it's not that I don't like Kliff Kingsbury. I think he's a good guy. I just don't think as a head coach, he's shown you anything to say that he can change from what we saw in Arizona and what we saw at Texas Tech with him having elite talent there. And the Saints do have lesser talent than what he had in Arizona. And I just don't see how he would realistically change as a head coach.